gagging around and get a little old school. We figure out what is the lesser of two weevils as we get weird and wild with the pride of Utah. Stretch Magnifico. Stretch Armstrong on Checkered Past, the Ska'd cast.
What the fuck you doing with your life these days? Oh, way, oh, what the fuck you doing with yourself? Oh, way, oh, what the fuck you doing with your life these days? Oh, way, oh, what the fuck you doing with yourself?
What up, Checkerheads? Welcome to Checkered Past, the Ska'd cast with Celine and Rob, the show where a Rock'em Sock'em Aquabat and a Big D and the Garbage Pail Kids table explore the history and impact of a different band each episode and hope to bring in new fans along the way. I'm Rob, and this is my sister and co-host, Celine.
I finally figured it. This one I get.
Oh, yeah.
This one is a ska bands and 90s kids toys inspired by the 90s kids toy Stretch Armstrong.
80s.
80s and 80s nostalgia.
Yeah, no Furby.
This is like the first one I've ever gotten.
Oh, yeah.
Like straight up. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Also, your intro was good. Did you sleep well this week?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe the psychosis.
Terribly. Yeah, no, I think this is actually the opposite when I just get into like, I get so tired that everything just like comes out of the head. It's like, what do you call that? Like lucid dreaming.
Comes out of the head.
It comes out of the head.
Real waking life
Yeah,
talk over
that's right.
there.
Oh, Richard Linklater.
You had, should we pick it up where we left it?
Yeah, let's pick it up where we left off. Oh, what do you got?
No, I have nothing. Well,
Oh,
no,
what?
I do. I'm teaching a class on Tuesday at I'm teaching a bunch of students a shave razor cut, and I have some loose notes, but I'm honestly just betting on charisma, and it's something I'm comfortable with, and I'm literally just gonna see how it goes. I've done a class before, so I kind of know how it goes, but I'm pretty good at riffing. It's my first time teaching students.
How many?
Probably like 30 or 40.
Whoa. Also, Razor Cut is a toaster song.
Razor Cut is a toaster song?
Yes, you should play it.
That's cool. I do like a wrestler thing before my class, and I'm like, hey, play the intro, and then just like give me the thumbs up, and then I just like go out. I have some sort of like belt, number one hairstylist, and I fucking break it over my knee, and I throw it at them.
And keep going.
And then I actually was thinking of like, should I give like little gifts or something, because I'm doing another class for like licensed stylists after. But then I'm like, I could just give everyone razor blades. I'm like, I don't know. There's got to be some like legality. I'm just like, razor blades. Oh, so that's what I do. I break the belt across my knee and I fucking throw a bunch of razor blades at them.
Put them in apples.
Yeah. So that's what's new for me.
Oh, that's exciting.
You so went to Dinosaur Land.
Oh, we were in
There's
Drumheller.
a place called Drumheller in Alberta, Canada. That's like very dinosaur-y. We're big on dinos.
Yeah, right. So I went there for a family reunion on my wife's side of the family. That part was okay. I won't act like I was super thrilled about it.
Rob was not for one moment excited to go.
I was to some degree. Like the dinosaurs were going to be cool.
I'm being dramatic. You were excited. You knew it was not going to be a restful vacation. That's all.
Yeah, that was.
And so you were
true.
prepared to not rest, which is not a fun thing to prepare for.
But like the thing was, so Drumheller, Alberta is in like the Badlands in Alberta and with the hoodoos and everything, and so it's like one of the biggest places in the world.
Rendezvous, hoodoos, we do. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's good.
Where's the hoodoos? They're in Drumheller. Hoodoos, fuck you.
You lost that one.
I did.
Yeah, like halfway through it. What else do I want to talk about with I got somewhere with that, right?
Sorry.
Oh, dinosaurs. So old dinosaur talk. This is like exciting for a ska podcast. Like there used to be a big ocean kind of like that ran halfway through North America when it was split apart. And Drumheller in Alberta, which is by Calgary, would have been just off the coast. So that's why they get so many dinosaurs there, because they all would have been washed up there. So if you go down there, it is very what's the word for it, cheesy with dinosaurs. Like there's dinosaur stuff everywhere.
That's
like,
fun.
The hometown that we come from, St. Paul, Alberta, has like alien stuff everywhere because of our UFO landing pad.
Yeah, I said Craig. I showed him the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I sent him the plaque that it says where it's like until like we cannot bring our wars on Earth, there's peace in the universe.
That was on our
until
UFO landing pad. I
Mhm.
forgot all about that.
It's like a pretty nice like statement for the aliens. It's nice, assuming they can read and understand English.
oh, I assume.
I mean,
they
we're
did.
big dum dums. I'm sure they're better than us. If they can monitor us, they're doing pretty good.
if they can.
anyways.
If
They can? What do you mean? If they? I mean, the reptilians in the government. Am I right?
You're not wrong. Is that good? Did we talk about dinosaurs enough?
Yeah, the new Viagra Boys CD has like a song kind of like, and it's like talking about reptilians and their slanted eyes. It's like making fun of conspiracy theories. Anyways,
Very like, I think dinosaurs
yeah,
are
that's
cool.
like literally exactly
Hey,
it.
saxophone.
Yeah, that's literally exactly.
That's a Viagra. Yeah. Okay.
You just have to do a lot more cocaine and take your shirt off and wear some shitty track pants and you're good.
Who said I haven't? If you're listening to this at home, that's exactly what you're seeing.
Was there any discussion of No Bronto?
No,
Bring it back to ska?
there's no brontosauruses.
Because no Bronto.
No Bronto. There's no brontosauruses.
The grooves
yeah.
taught me that.
Yeah.
Drumheller could never.
No,
Where
they could never.
Drumheller
Too
fell,
much actual science.
The Groovers
happening. Yeah.
filled in.
Because like we get a lot of the ceratopses with the frill dinosaurs.
Albertosaurus.
Albertosaurus.
Edmontonsaurus.
Edmontonia.
Edmontonia.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dinos. It's a dino town. It's oil and dinos. And that's the thing that kind of is whack a little bit about that.
Is it whack?
Well, no, because when you go in, the first thing you see when you get in there is like, it's like, oh, oil companies drill for oil and they find dinosaurs. And you're like, ooh, don't
When we
tell
were
me
fracking,
this.
we
It
kept
literally
hitting
says
dinos.
oil sands. Yeah, we
Yeah.
keep hitting dinos.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
That's the real trouble with fracking. Is all the dinos that keep hitting.
Hey, I'm sleeping here.
Well, I think we'd stay no further
Hey,
on
I'm
this.
fossilizing over here.
I think they finished. We're absolutely thrilled to introduce our guest. He's the godfather of the ska internet and host of the OG ska pods on the Upbeat and 23 Minutes of Ska. RJ Phoenix is here. Hi, RJ.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Celine. Hello, Joey.
Hey.
It's so good to be here. I just can't believe you passed up the ska pun to say you ska for the state instead of Utah.
Oh. Is that a thing? Like I would assume they
no,
do
but
that,
that's what
right?
I expected.
No, okay.
We all know
and-
Mormons love puns and they love ska.
Mormons are
Ska.
something
You
else.
ska.
There is a lot of Utah ska though. It is crazy. So Mormons must love ska. I think you're onto something.
I know. Now
Um,
I'm thinking, I'm like, is that a thing? Because there's a lot of Salt Lake City bands, right?
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Provo ska band.
Yeah,
Really?
Provo's pretty
Yeah,
close to
apparently.
Salt
Well,
Lake.
hopefully.
Yeah. I'm finding out all these cool things up in Alberta that I've never known about.
What is your ska origin story, your checkered past, if you will?
So, I mean, you can always go back and be like, oh yeah, I knew like My Boy Lollipop by Millie Small, like, but I didn't know that was ska at the time. So as far as like listening to ska and knowing what it was at high school, and my friend Dave, who was like the coolest guy ever, and he's always switching me on to good music. He was fast forwarding through a tape in biology class. I don't know why we had a boombox and why he was allowed to put music on it during class, but it was. He's looking for a song to play for a teacher, and like he plays like 20 seconds of like a Toaster song. He's like, that's not what I'm looking for, and he hits fast forward. And I was like, Dave, what the fuck was that? What was that I just heard? He's like, oh, it's a band called The Toasters. They just put out a new album. It's called Dub 56. You'll love it. Go pick it up. And I drove to my local CD shop like later that week, got it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is absolutely excellent. And so then I started like reading the liner notes of who the bands were thanking and like the Moon Scott catalog and ordering stuff. And then Dave, this cool guy Dave, had a ska band. And they were playing, and this is like a year later when he went to college, and I went to go to his college, and I saw a whole bunch of good bands play with his band just in like this weird little college like offshoot room in like a hall. And yeah, ever since then, and that was like 95, I think, it's just been like a big part of my musical diet, along with all the weird like indie pop and power pop and other nonsense I listened to. And yeah. So it's just like, since then it was like ska. So like Skank and Pickle and Boss Tones after Toasters, and then just it grew from there.
So where did you go to high school? Where were you about?
I was in rural Illinois in a small town called Chillicothe, outside of Peoria, which is
Okay.
also not a big city. And my friend went to college down in Champaign, which is a bit more known. But yeah, so I grew up literally cornfields behind my house, cornfields across the street from my house. Like I was literally in the middle of almost nowhere. Yeah.
So probably kind of similar vibes to us for
Yeah,
sure.
we grew up
you
in
had
Canola Town.
You had a Celine style introduction to ska, as in just having some guy around you show you. And when I say some guy, I mean my brother that's right here.
Nice. I was
So
kind
you
of that
would've
guy from my
been-
brother and my little cousin Joey and my
Aw.
cousin Sean. Yeah. We all four would go to
we
shows
appreciate
together.
it.
Yeah.
I'd be still listening to 50 Cent and Ashanti if Rob didn't come in the picture. Actually, no, I would have been a new metal kid. I would have been fucking just straight Disturbed, like Limp Bizkiting around.
Lincoln Park.
Like I mean, that's never gone.
I had
so
my best
you-
friend back then said, if it wasn't for you, I'd be listening to Aerosmith. Thank you. Like, he said that when we were graduating high school.
Ooh, Aerosmith in the 90s. That would have been like Just Push Play.
I
Yeah,
probably
like
would have went down a
mid-90s,
more.
yeah.
I probably would have went down more of like all 2000s metal if you didn't like get in there and show me like give him the boot. And even though you weren't the biggest psychobilly kid, that's how I got into psychobilly. Was just
Yeah.
the give him the boot, the give him the boots, give me the boots, give it to him. Gonna shut up.
So you would have been going to shows in and around in the Midwest then. So you would have been kind of at the heat of the Midwest jump up, like that whole family would have been happening, right? So you're Johnny Stockos and stuff, yeah.
So it took me a while before I saw Johnny Sacco, because whenever they came close to me, they were only playing at 21 and up bars. So I didn't get to see them too often until after I turned 21. And then once I did, I saw them like every other month. And then I got to know them, and I'd start going to like St. Louis, Madison, Iowa City, Indianapolis to go see them, because I just really, really dug their live show. It was unlike a lot of different bands. So ME330 a handful of times. There was a time where if you went to a ska show in St. Louis, you would see Dan Pothass busking out in front of it. He wasn't playing. Dan was just there with his guitar doing songs, selling the CDs out of his guitar case in front of like a Goldfinger show in downtown St. Louis. And I never got to see the Blue Meanies, which is a big miss of mine, but I saw Mustard Plug a lot. There was this
They're from
one
Grand Rapids, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're from Michigan, yeah. So I'd go up to Chicago for shows, and there was this one huge show at a skate park that a bunch of my friends and I went to, and it was just so many Midwest bands, and of course, like Chuck Wren was there selling all his jump up CDs and stuff. I was like, Dr. Manette. It's a whole bunch of. I could name a bunch of bands, and you were like, I don't know who the hell you're talking about. Dr. Manette, Scally Baba and the 40 Ounce Horns, a Siren 6, who you may have heard of. They actually were around for a while.
Baba is very good. Also, that's just very good.
Yeah, I think the Eclectics played too.
I know the Eclectics. I used to be on the Jump Up Album of the Month Club. At one point, I don't think Chuck is sending stuff up to Canada anymore, but I used to get all kinds of random stuff from the Jump Up. It was Record of the Month Club. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that was sick.
Yeah, that was good times. I've done that a few times in the past too. Yeah,
that's a cute idea.
Now Jump Up is a little bit more like they've switched over to be more like kind of old school stuff, but I guess they do stuff with Pay Attention Records now to kind of still do a little bit more of the.
Is there like a ska? There's a ska box. Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Yes,
ska box rocks or something. I was just thinking, I'm like, what a great idea, but that already exists. I guess it'd be hard. I feel like the first month would be sweet, and then I'd be like, what the fuck do I put in this thing? Mozzarella sticks? A fedora?
I know we've given stickers on the Upbeat for them to put in their box. I was like, here, have some stickers.
Sweet. That's fun.
I've given them some records from when I ran a record label for a short time. Yeah.
Cool. I do like it as a concept. If a record label maybe did it, they'd have more access.
Yeah. What are you looking at me for confirmation for?
I'm just thinking of like maybe this is a business opportunity.
Oh, I see. The wheels of commerce are turning.
Yes, that's all.
Do it, Celine. Do it.
Drake and Stan, I'm like, okay, so Ska's coming back, guys. I swear. we do our like intro to the Dragon's Den, and we just like go in skanking. We have like a live
What's
ska
this
band.
we? Why have you roped me into this?
You're absolutely in on this. Who do you think would go for it?
I haven't watched Dragon's Den in like a million years.
I'm only familiar with the UK one mostly.
So speaking of which, what was the trajectory to go from like ska fan to starting your first ska podcast?
So, okay, you're a kid, you're in your 20s, you're going to a bunch of ska shows, and they cost money. And so you think of the only thing you can do, which is start your own band to get on bills so you can go see all these shows for free. So that's what me and my four best friends did at the time. We started this kind of shitty band, but we had a lot of horn players. We didn't necessarily play ska, but we had a lot of fun. And so we got on the shows for free. And
that's
that
awesome.
was, and so that just built up, knowing more and more people in the scene and wanting to help promote my friends. And then in 2006, I left all that behind to move out to Los Angeles. And living in Los Angeles with my then girlfriend, now wife, we decided to start doing a podcast. And it was about reality TV. And it was really weird and fun. But, we were making fun of shows like Rock of Love and like Flavor of Love and all those really dumb shows.
You're literally describing my two most favorite shows.
Yeah. I loved covering Rock of Love more than Flavor of Love, and I like covering Tool Academy. I think those were my favorite.
Have you watched Daisy of Love? Did you watch Daisy of Love?
Yeah, of course I watched Daisy of Love. I think I wrote articles about Daisy of Love.
I have been like holding down the Rock of Love aesthetic ever since then. I've been holding it down, and it's like kind of coming back around. I'm like, no, this is what looks good, everyone.
It's been long enough. The wheel of fashion has come back around.
Yeah. Brett Michaels' fucking shitty weave. His shitty weave.
And so we did that, and I was like, I want to keep doing like a podcast, but it needed to be something a bit more low key and not time intensive. And so I wanted to do a ska one, and the only thing I was ever good at growing up to help promote my friends' bands and other bands was making mixtapes and mix CDs. So when I started 23 Minutes of Ska, it was only supposed to be monthly, and then I was like, no, I can do it twice a month. And it was just like basically supposed to be a little 23-minute mixtape of cool music for anyone who liked ska. And that's all it was for the first 2 years. And then I was like, I need to do more. So I added a interview that I did once a month, and I did that for about a year. And there's like, interviews is too much trouble when I'm trying to do this show. And at some point, people asked me what day of the week the show came out on, because originally interviews came out on the 1st, one episode came out on the 11th, and the next episode came out on the 23rd of the month. So it's not like a good set schedule. It's actually really dumb if you want to get a listenership. And someone's like, yeah, they're like, it comes out on Thursday, right? And I'm like, it does now. And I took the show weekly and I made it come out every Thursday. And I tried to do an interview show again called Ska After Party, which lasted for about a year. And then when I was like, I don't have time to do this and work my day job, do a lot of stuff around the house, be an involved husband. And so I was like, I can't dedicate this much time. And that's around the time Matt needed a new co-host on the Upbeat. And he asked me to come join him.
That's awesome.
So that's
it
really
is a lot
long.
Of time and
what's that?
Which is when you're trying to be a fully functioning adult, like, and like if only it paid the bills.
Yeah.
And it is fun, but you have to like, is the juice worth the squeeze? And it can be to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's good for on the Upbeat because I basically show up and talk about ska for an hour and a half, and then
that's
mostly
that's what I.
Yeah, and then Matt does like all the editing and the uploading and the social media because I can't do social media like at all. I try, I'm bad at it. Like I'll be like, here's the new episode. I'll be like, here's the new episode of the show, And that's about all I do. Every once in a while, if I'm feeling like bored or like I'm waiting for dinner to cook because I got it in the oven and I have like 5 minutes, I'll go on Twitter and dick around. But I can pretty much only do Twitter. Like Instagram is too much for me. Facebook,
I think you need to choose
don't
one.
like. Yeah,
I do think you need to choose one.
So then how did you also get onto the Reddit then? Where did that come in?
Oh, geez. Okay, this is actually a pretty long and another stupid story. So I'd been active on the Ska Reddit pretty early on with 23 Minutes of Ska as a place to go try to promote, like, hey, I got a new episode. And at one point there was like a Reddit thread. It's like, what can you do to a Reddit forum and send everybody into a huge fight? And someone said, go into our Ska and argue whether Streetlight Manifesto is a ska band or not. And you'll have the entire subreddit in disarray. And so, Reddit, the type of like a base Reddit user. That's the funniest thing in the world. And I have nothing better to do with my time than to go shit on a bunch of people in a ska forum. And so within like a half hour, like there is the whole front 3 pages you could even see where like people either shitting on Streetlight Manifesto or saying they're the best ska band ever. Just everybody trying to think they're the funniest fucker in the world. Sorry, can we swear?
We swore so much.
Okay, cool. And it just got really annoying. But me being me and it being a very slow day at work, none of the mods were paying attention at all. I would actually try to talk to all these people. To the point where one of the most active mods saw it and he's like, you should be a mod on our Ska. Like, you actually were nice to people and didn't tell them they were dicks, but you insinuated that they were dicks. So they kind of backed off.
Perfect energy you need to be a mod. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I became a mod through that. And at first I didn't really do too much, to be honest, because I want to take everything with a light touch. I don't want to be like a guy who's like, this is how it should be. These are the rules. And over the last couple of years, it's become like evident, like every once in a while, you need to boot somebody or you need to tell them to calm down and stop harassing people. Other than just like, sexist, racist assholes who would just boot automatically. But yeah. So I got involved there, and it has its up and its downs. I know at one point there was a big, like, this is why I don't go on Ska Reddit anymore. People talking about it on Twitter, Ska Twitter. And I was like, you're not wrong, but what would you do to fix it? Because, I'm a mod.
Right, because like pointing out what's, Yeah. It's not helpful to just be like, this is wrong. It's like, hey, here's what we could do.
Yeah. It's like, well, come and check it out. Come help be the change you want to see in here. And, you got my full support. And there was a couple problem users that people pointed out it to me. And I'm like, you're right. They really are. And I'll have a talk with them. And there's other people that still like, well, it's Reddit. It's not going to change. They're all assholes. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't have to be. If you look at the bulk of Twitter,
that's not the right attitude.
Yeah, if you look at the bulk of Twitter, it's people being assholes to each other and like getting really politically crazy. But then you go to Ska Twitter and it's like this oasis on Twitter that's great and makes you want to be involved. I was like, we can do that with Reddit.
I've been trying to
want.
just like, I believe I've been trying to like just not that I don't really comment and like I'm not really like I scroll. I like Reddit. I like Twitter used to be my safe place that I didn't interact on, and I could just scroll and like read posts, but not in a bad way. But now with the podcast, I'm like, ugh, this isn't an escape anymore. So Reddit is my escape where I don't really post, but I've been and r/Ska. I try to just upvote pretty much everything if it's positive, just to like just help the karma. So we could all do that. Ever since I know actually you were the mod when Rob told me, I was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna like add a little positivity like in the Reddit. And once I saw that discourse kind of happening, I was like, it doesn't have to be shitty. And yeah, Twitter for the most part is like a kind of a horrible dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And then I think with Reddit, like when we first started, it was a little like we had a rough go on Reddit.
I was really sensitive.
No, also. But then like there was some people like making some weird comments, and then all of a sudden it was around, I think, when the No Doubt episode came out. And we had made some comments on the episode about like we're like, oh yeah, like there's this like cadre of Reddit ska people from the OC that gatekeep the OC ska scene, and they're like have these strong opinions. And all of a sudden then a bunch of people came on and like we're like kind of like looking down at the ground kicking sand, and we're like, we're sorry, like, we didn't mean for it to come off that way. And like since then it's been curated down where very infrequently does anybody come on and be like a dumbass about it and say like this is the worst shit I've ever heard, which has happened a couple of times, but that hasn't happened in
a while,
a long time now.
To be fair,
yeah. It
was bad at first.
Yeah, and then it chilled out after a while. So yeah,
I mean, about a year
so we're on there
ago,
all the time.
We were like, these are the rules, and like most of them are the rules that Reddit has already about being respectful and not being a dick. The only thing that we're like kind of different on is like we invite self-promotion on the Reddit. That's supposed to be a big like
Which
Reddit
is awesome.
rule. Yeah, so we're just like, no, come here, like promote and
post your stuff.
Yeah, and so after that, people actually use the report function now, which helps me out as a mod because I'm not looking in every like thing. But now I see reports and I can be like, oh yeah, this guy is totally being a jerk. Or as I was like, no, this guy's not being a jerk. Like you're mad because they don't like what you're saying. And so I always
or they just don't agree with you.
Yeah, and but it's much better that I can go in and like see that now instead of stuff happening because like I have a day job, I cook all the meals for me and my wife. Like I am a busy guy. I got a sick cat that I take care of because she's the best cat in the world. But like it's just I don't have time to like always be like checking like, oh man, yeah. So yeah,
respect to your wife because I also don't cook and Joey does all the cooking. So respect to you and your wife.
Oh, my wife works way harder at her job than I do. It's much more involved, and she does all the Thanksgiving cooking. She does like the turkey and everything. So like I get a day off on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
I'm a money mama, okay? I'm money mama, all right?
Yeah.
Don't even. I'm busy working, making money.
Hell yeah!
So just to pivot, it's one of the things that happen like now with the evolution with 23 minutes and like you have 2 podcasts and everything. You get a lot of submissions from bands. I think you get more than probably anybody.
Actually, like, that's not true. Hardly anybody hits me up. I maybe get a email once every few months. Yeah,
I am shocked.
I think it's because most people know that I will go buy their stuff if it's on Bandcamp, to be honest. Like
they're like, and especially small bands.
Yeah, he'll give us
one
like
of
$5.
50 people. They're like, we really need that.
Yeah.
That is like the biggest shock that I've ever
really
heard.
small things where it's like we have like even with us, like we don't have that many Patreons. I'm like, I'm not giving you our Patreon for free. I like you, but
yeah.
It'd probably be a good idea.
So what's I mean, you've seen it come and go. So what's exciting you about the modern ska scene right now?
I mean, ever since like because I started in the show in 2010. And I've really liked like the Bad Time Records crew even before they were officially the Bad Times Records crew. Like I was like interested in like We Are the Union and Kill Lincoln pretty much right off the bat. I really liked what bands like Catbite are doing and bands like Coolidge and the King Kong 4 because I really like power pop. Like that's probably my second big music love. So ska plus power pop for me is just like such a sweet spot.
I love pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Catbite really. That's why I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so that to me, bands like that make me really excited. Bands like Loser and Eichlers doing this weird like chip tune and like hyper pop thing. I enjoy because I listen to that stuff outside of ska too. So it's fun to see that like mixed with like ska, which I love so much. And also seeing like some of the older bands still continuing on and doing good. Like I didn't expect the Slackers to put out such a great album this year, and they turned out a great album. So like that's amazing to me. And seeing like tours like the Slackers with We Are the Union and Kill Lincoln. Like I like the old guard and the young kids and not even the same style of ska like playing together. That to me was like that bill was so exciting for me.
That's awesome.
Where do you see it going in the next 5 years?
I see it dipping again. I see the ska punk kind of fading out and more traditional stuff coming back.
Yeah.
But that's just like the evolution of how ska's been. Like every 11 years, it's the opposite. So like I've been telling people for like since like about when I realized this, which was about 2014, I was like, ska pop punk stuff, that's going to be big again in 2021. And people like, you don't know what you're talking about. But because at that time, like it was that soul rock steady stuff was really big. And more traditional stuff. But I was like, no, but it's going to come back. It's the cycle. It's always the same cycle in ska and pop music in general. So I expect it to get slower over the next 5 years. And then in about 9 years from now, it's going to be the dominant sound's probably going to be more traditional. Yeah. Being old sometimes you just see things and you don't even know you're seeing them until you stop. And you're like, wait.
I could see people like dipping pretty deep into like really traditional two-tone and kind of like doing a modern play on that, but like sticking to the classics. Yeah. It's like when Ramones core, as Joey talks about, come back in, where like there's so many bands who just sound like exactly like bands from 77 punk. And like, you know, like you said, I think that's dying off, but I'd say like 5 years ago, I was seeing so many bands do like 77 punk. So yeah, you're right. It does kind of go, all, I guess, genres and scenes kind of go through that phase where once in a while they're like experimental and fun and new, and then it goes back into traditional.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, just in general, like rock and roll was like 55, and then like 66 was like the hippie movement, 77 was the punk movement. So it just kind of goes on. And like 88 was like that really bad, slow nonsense that I had to listen to my entire childhood. So
I was thinking like minor Threat 88.
Oh, no, I mean on the radio, you would have had like hair
on
metal.
the radio. I was thinking like hardcore in the 80s, like post-punk.
I wish.
Hair metal in 88.
No, it's like,
and then
it was
blue
like
metal in 99.
the worst Elton John, the worst Billy Joel stuff. Like everything was like a doctor's waiting room.
I'm thinking of what I listened to that was released those years, not what was actually being heard by the masses.
I listen to like They Might Be Giants if I'm talking about stuff from like the late 80s. Like that's what I listened to on my own. But when I didn't have a choice, I'm not going to get to listen to Devo, you know?
Wait, if I have a choice, I will listen to Devo's. Go Speed Racer's a jam.
Dude, Devo's
I'm a Barbie doll and I love him.
I'm a big pirate who likes to steal. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Go, Speed Racer.
That is a great Mark Mothers Vow impression.
Thank you so much. It's not my first time at all. I'm a Barbie doll and I like that. Like, who even made a song of that? That's insane. Viagra Boys are the only people who are doing that now.
Kinda.
Anyways, not only.
I mean, we were talking about this the other day, but there is one Devo song that does not hold up. And Mongoloid.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that's the song my band used to cover too.
It is a good song, so I understand why. And I honestly haven't even thought about like the connection of that being a very clear slur.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the thing is, he had a job and he brought home the bacon. Come on.
He was doing okay.
I don't think this is on the schedule. Like, Celine and RJ are going to talk about Devo for 20 minutes.
And justify Mongoloid to themselves for liking it. No, we're not bad people. He had a job.
So the band you chose today,
yes,
because usually the guest chooses the band, is a band called Stretsch Armstronng. So here's what I wrote down to ask you about this. Why the fuck did you pick this band? And of course you did.
Well, okay, first of all, you came to me saying, sorry, we've already done ME330 and Johnny Sacco. And so I was like, all right, who should I pick to talk about? And you suggested somebody obscure and older. And I was like, all right. And I didn't want to do Dr. Manette only because you have to buy that CD and you have to find someone selling it used. It's not on any streaming services. Yeah. And so I was like, Stretch, like I think a year ago they put all their stuff up on Spotify. So I was like, okay, this will be at least something people can experience if they want. And this band does hold a special place in my heart. They played a town over, which is like 40-minute drive from where I grew up in Peoria. So they played in Bloomington on a bill with Mustard Plug and Hepcat. And me and my little brother and a couple of our friends went, and we just had a fun time. And so like, this is one of those bands, like Mustard Plug and Stretch are like bands that like me and my little brother bonded over. As well
we
as
bonded over Mustard Plug too.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's adorable. It's a lot of fun, like when you have like that sibling bond through music. Another big one for us was Nerf Herder too. But that they didn't play the Ska show.
We did a Perry Grip episode just off for the record. It was one of our trombonist episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a trombonist. Yeah. I haven't listened. I was going to listen to trombonist episodes because me and I think Joey, or was it you, Rob, started talking about maybe doing a trombonist for my favorite band in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And then it evolved into like, no, let's just do a normal episode. So
it sounded like too much work to try to get you on for. Actually, that's weird to say, but it sounds like more work to get somebody on one of our short episodes than just do a full length episode and just let's
carve
do the whole
out the
thing.
time.
Yeah.
Oh no, I will talk about Biffs at the drop of a hat. So if you ever want to do that, I'm still game.
Sounds good. Put
but so I picked this band because it's a band that not a lot of people know of. I have a lot of love for. And it fulfilled being obscure in an older band, like Rob requested.
And I've never heard of them.
Yeah,
really?
This was a first.
Yeah,
like
never.
Legitimately, I think this is the first time that somebody suggested a band that I like had not heard of before. So kudos.
I played them a lot early.
I voted for them for kudos.
I voted for kudos.
Nice.
Yeah, I was being
nice. I played them a lot early on in 23 when I didn't know a lot of new ska bands. Because it took a while, the evolution of that show, to start being so like hyper focused on like more recent acts. So, by the time I get to like now, I was like, well, I don't repeat songs, and I played all the Stretch songs that I'm ever going to play like 10 years ago. So, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, it was a journey, and
that first album, bro.
Oh my god, I was so great. Not to be too spoilery, but I was so grateful it got better. That's all I'll say. I'm so grateful it got better.
Like,
let's hold the discussion.
Okay.
And let's get into it. Let's take the time machine back to 1990. All right. So I pulled from. I was actually able to find a significant amount of stuff to talk about with Stretch Armstronng because whoever decided to do their Wikipedia Last FM sourced legitimately every single line on it to old articles that were like written on like college newspapers in Utah. So there was like. I probably went through 30 or 40 old newspaper articles while I was doing my research for this. So whoever the enterprising individual that sourced all their stuff, you are an absolute gem and a scholar, and thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Celine.
Yeah.
So the time machine takes us back to 1990 in Provo, Utah. Before we do that, though, we don't have the song for it, but it's time to play the nation's most critically acclaimed Driva Ska game show. Guess that horn section.
That's sweet trombone, trumpet, or saxophone. It's now time to play Guess That Horn.
To guess the makeup of the horn section of this band. So they have the same horn section.
I'm thinking they're men, so they probably have some like maybe light makeup for stage. The makeup of the horn section.
Last 3 releases because it's all the same. They have the same lineup for the last 3. So if you were to hazard a guess, let's start. How many horns?
I don't even remember hearing a horn. Like I know that
there was a
like,
significant amount of horns. significant.
Like I know there was a horn, but it's just like not coming.
How many?
to me.
How many?
I'm assuming what 2,
No,
1,
No.
3,
Yeah,
3.
Yeah.
3. Wow, 3. That I
Yeah.
wouldn't have guessed 3. Saxophone
yeah.
and a trumpet.
Nope.
There's 2 trombones and a saxophone.
Nope.
There's 2 saxophones and a trumpet.
Nope.
There's what clarinet?
Nope.
There's 3 saxophones?
Yes.
That's insane. That's crazy. And also a tenor and a bari?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, triple saxophones. That's why I wanted to play this because it's actually like an interesting horn section. But
And
Yeah,
I got
that's
it
why
right.
I
That's
say-
crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I say the first album doesn't count, because they had a trumpet and a trombone player and an alto sax player. Then once they changed to the all sax lineup, that's when the band started.
That's why I guessed trumpet.
Yeah.
I heard it.
I don't think
very
that's what you
clearly.
disliked about the first one specifically
just-
was the trumpet.
Yeah, you know how I feel about trumpet.
Oh, wasn't the weak horn songwriting on the first album?
No, I actually it was the excellent production quality. It was too good. production.
really tipping our hand as to what our opinion is.
I mean, I ordered the cassette like when I was a kid
Oh.
from the band.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
was
there
like,
it is.
that's okay, but I had, because I'd picked up the first album and the first EP at the same time when I saw them, and then I did order the last album when that came out. But yeah, that was
So-
kind of a letdown of a cassette.
Is that are they called full blown Stretch Armstrong on that, or are they have one of their weird other names?
Yes. This is Stretch Armstronng. This was released later again with like extra N's and umlauts on the O and an S,
Yeah.
and the extra S on the word stretch. It's all weird legal copyright reasons.
Just to make it so hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
it's because of the toy. Oh, you're gonna probably explain that.
The Time Ska Sheet takes us back to 1990 in Provo, Utah. Ska is barely a conversation in most national circles, but here in the 4th largest city in Utah, it is thriving. Most of that is thanks to the popularity and high energy antics of local favorites, Swim Herschel Swim. Like much of the early third wave bands formed in the 80s, they owed much of their style and influence to two-tone bands like The Beat and Madness, as well as Bim Scala Bim. Their off-the-wall style, wild live shows, and humor made them beloved, but kicked off many other local bands eager to join in on the fun. These bands included Insatiable, Model Citizen, and of course, Stretch Armstronng. Named after the 80s toy and formed by untrained vocalist Scott Van Wagenen.
Wow. Shock. Gasp. Untrained?
I have that written right here. It's a thing.
I'm so surprised.
The band wanted to take the ground laid by Swim Herschel Swim and push it forward to crazier heights. They decided to incorporate high-spirited funk as well as the unpredictable energy of Fishbone. They gained a reputation as the most high-energy band in Utah. While the lineup never stayed consistent, they had over 20 members rotating through in their first 3 years of existence. They would still pack 1,000-seat venues and open for high-profile acts like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. In 1993, they decided to finally record some music and self-released the cassette titled Old School, which would begin their habit of releasing some kind of release every single year. So we've talked about it a little bit. I guess we'll talk about Old School. Let's kick the conversation off by playing this song. The song I have ready is called TBTF.
Taking back the Friday.
No, I listened to this song 4 times in an effort to understand what it stands for.
The boobs fit there.
No, that would be TBFT.
Wait, what is it?
TBTF.
The boob titties fit.
That's your new bra slogan? Slim's Bras. People want to listen to this song.
The big titties fit.
To be honest, of all the songs on this album, this is one of the few that actually sticks with me. As soon as it starts, I'm like,
you're
yeah, this one.
Showing. Oh, this is where I don't like it.
This is so fishbony. This is so modern industry.
Yeah. Celine has a hard time with Fishbone.
It's Two-Face. TF is Two-Face.
You had me gaslit for a minute. I was like, I'm being too hard on them in the beginning.
And then
it happened.
Red Hot Chili Peppers White Boy Funk kicks in.
Yeah.
To say it like, okay, so yeah.
It's actually not the worst. I think I was in a bad mood this morning when I put it on.
The thing
No,
with
no,
this
you
album
probably
is-
listened to the whole thing at once, Celine. It is not great.
I did. Okay. I was like, now I feel a little bad. I was like, that wasn't even that bad.
Yeah,
There
that
is
song's
so
okay.
much White Boy Funk on
Yeah.
the album that so Fishbone is not a bunch of white boys, and they they play.
I famously thought Fishbone was white,
but
and it did change my opinion on them, and I don't like what that says
But
about me.
there is a lot of white people who are like average white banding their funk,
Right.
and
Mhm.
I think that it just doesn't translate. There's only a few bands that do it okay, like Skank and Pickle
Yes.
is able to do that. We've talked about how, and I think RJ, you'd agree, that first Johnny Sacco album, Bove Aquarium, that's basically like a funk jam.
Yeah, I'm
is
not.
suspect on.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm just not a big. There was one band called Bob Harvey that I think did a funk ska thing and did it pretty well, but so few and far between, really.
Yeah, we talked about Bob Harvey on a recent episode. I can't remember why. But yeah, and then this is like rife with it. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's 20 members that have come and gone.
And to be fair, maybe they didn't have a lot of money for production at that time.
So your problem is the production.
It just sounds bad.
It
I
sounds-
don't think that's the production.
No.
No, what it is if you listen to what's even on Spotify, you hear the tape hiss. I think they just they just took straight from the cassette. And then they put it.
Right.
There's
Okay, that's what
like-
it sounds. There
yeah.
was such a strange tinny.
Yeah.
I don't have my notes. Like I did write notes, but I didn't write that many. But there's like I wrote that there was like a tinny sound throughout the first record that I found hard to get over. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's just there was only cassettes and there was like it's the best
Yeah,
thing
they-
you could do to have it available on streaming.
Yeah, they didn't go
services.
back to like the masters or anything. Like they just took that cassette and just like used Audacity and dubbed it right in.
The vocals are really hard on this album.
There's two vocalists. No, like I feel like there's two
Yes.
vocalists on the first record, but maybe I'm wrong. It
There just
sounded like
wasn't.
there's
I
two.
was just like, was there
Well,
no
I'll
one else to do
check.
vocals? Like, you can get better over time, clearly, and that, like, again, spoiler alert, did happen. Like performing and singing all the time, you're gonna get better. But I was like, that's it. You're just like, sure, I'll sing.
Yeah, that's all he does is sing, and he founded the band. So I think it was one of those things where it's like,
It's like anyone else want to sing? Nope. I guess I'll sing. I bet you that is what happened.
oh, it's I want to start a band. I can't play an instrument. I guess I'll sing.
I mean, you're looking right at me, and that's literally. I just tried to convince Joey to start a ska band with me when I had 3 cocktails on Friday. So I guess I can't say shit.
Hey, I sang for my band after our lead singer quit because everybody was like, "You do all the stage like patter with the audience anyway. You should sing." I'm like, "But I can't sing." Like nobody gives a shit.
No, you're right. Not
Yeah.
no.
Once you get up on stage, everybody's half cut, and they can barely hear you through the monitors anyway. It doesn't matter what you're singing.
In Joey's 80s cover metal band, my friend who's a singer can fucking wail, and people notice and comment all the time. But she's like an insane vocalist. Like,
But if you're
Yeah,
good,
they
people
comment on
say so. But if you're suck,
but if you're
nobody
mediocre
says
to
so. Yeah.
bad,
No,
Nobody
everyone's
says
just
so.
like, "Good for you."
you really got up. It takes a lot to get up there
Yeah.
and do it.
You look like you were having fun.
That's what somebody. I was like, yeah. I've been told that for karaoke too.
Do I have another song queued up? Oh, I did. The Russian song. I just queued that one up. I actually
Oh.
like this one. This was kind of.
Oh, I knew you like. As soon as I heard, I was like, Rob likes this.
Of course I do. It's an inscrutable
Okay,
name. I don't know
your
how to
notes
say
for
this.
this album was Celine is gonna. Celine hates this, and my thought for this song was Rob loves this.
Borisa Glebska. Borisa Glebska.
Nice. Thanks, Joey. resident
The
Russian.
musicianship is good on this track. It doesn't sound good, but the musicianship they seem like talented people.
This has the same, like, I don't know, Slow Gherkin, their first album, had a similar, like, you can clearly tell they're good, but they're not writing good songs.
Just the vocals are so tough on my ears.
But yeah, Celine kind of tipped it that when I started making notes, my first note was Celine is going to hate this. And she texted me this morning and she says, ugh, I hate this.
And then
Anyway.
he sent me a screenshot of his notes.
Screenshot of my notes. Yeah, it was like confirmed.
But then I was, we'll keep going. I will stop talking.
How did you feel? What other thoughts do you have about old school RJ?
I just don't listen to it. I will listen to the two albums and the EP quite often. There's a lot of, like I said, nostalgic memories in those recordings for me. But the old school cassette,
no. And
Not
there's
at
like
all.
nostalgia. I have learned from this podcast does have a lot of merit.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, you need to separate nostalgia from quality sometimes. Like,
I know it's hard though. I've been
It's really
confronted
hard.
with it on this podcast as well, where I'm like, oh, I guess technically this isn't good, but I love it so much.
yeah, I like a lot of things that I can say this is objectively not good, and I can like
I fucking love Peaches, and I'm like, it's objectively good, but it's also like not good.
it's good, but it's not
It's
for
not.
everybody.
Put your dick in the air, dick.
It's
put your dick in the
entertaining.
air. No singing. I like that I'm coming down on his singing, and I'm like, no, Peaches is incredible. So yeah, who am I? Who am I?
Well, I think with that, let's take a break.
Rob,
With the
You didn't
break.
really say much.
I did. I said I hated this.
Okay.
I don't try to like shit.
No, you're a
knowing
nice
what I
person.
know about this band. Like sometimes I feel like I'm like, okay, I don't want to like crap on this band too hard. But knowing what I know about this band and its members, they don't give a shit if I don't like this.
Okay, that's kind of fun too.
Clearly, they don't.
And if they hadn't
yeah.
gotten so much better, I would feel bad. You know, if there's a band that they never get better, you'd be like, oh, they were doing their thing, they were okay. But then they got so much better, so I can be like, yeah, that was kind of not great.
I was actually nervous because after I heard the first album, I was like, oh, I was excited to talk to RJ. I don't want to like shit on one of his favorite bands the whole time and be like, I hate this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, thank God.
RJ
Yeah.
did DM me the other day, and he was like, oh, I forgot to say, you can probably skip old school. And
Too late.
I said I would never skip an album. I'm nothing if not thorough.
Yeah. Give me a break.
All right, time to take a break, and when we get back, more time Ska Sheen.
These days. Oh, hey, oh, what the fuck you doing yourself?
RJ, and we're talking about Stretsch Armstronng. And now it's 1994. The band has finally firmed up a lineup that consists of the aforementioned Scott on the vocals, Darren Hutchinson on bass, Dave Thomas on drums. Dave Thomas. Huh.
Like from Wendy's?
Wendy's. Huh. I don't know. He played in the band. Interesting. Square drum kits. Mike South on guitar.
Square drum kits. Is the
'Cause
boxes?
He doesn't cut
Wendy's
corners
has
when he
square-
drums.
That's funny.
Yeah, podcast over. Mike South on the guitar and Ryan Ridges on the keyboards. The horn section had not one, not two, but three saxophones. Dan Nelson on the alto, Brian Rowley on the tenor, and Sterling Acom on the bari. This lineup would last for the rest of their career.
Aw.
They also used the opportunity to form their own label, Messy Records.
Oh.
And they would change their name to just Stretch and quickly put together a new full length.
Oh.
So why did they change their name, you may ask?
It's been speculated upon.
It's been speculated upon, and you're not wrong. So they called themselves Stretch Armstrong because they thought it was cute to name themselves after a old toy that didn't exist at the time. And ironically, in 1993, Mattel or Hasbro or whoever reissued the Stretch Armstrong toy, and they preemptively were like, maybe we should not call ourselves this because we don't want to get sued. Nobody ever came after them. They just thought, let's do it. And the reason why I know nobody came after them because another band called Stretch Armstronng came out later, and they're like a Christian metal.
Well, Rob,
band.
I have something to tell you. They did get a cease and desist letter from.
They did?
Yes, this is what I found out when I hung out with the band when I saw them.
When they told, interesting.
Yeah, so they had, and that is why. Then they came up with the jokes like, "We'll be Stretch whatever." And so that's why because when Lollygag was first put out, it was put out under Stretch Armstrong. And then they re-released it as just Stretch. Then it's like, okay, now we're going to do this. So that's why it's Stretch Magnifico for the second band. And then the second release. And they're like, that's going to be confusing. Let's just be Stretch. But yes, they even tried to iron out some like legal things and it just didn't work. So that's why I was always interested in why the Christian hardcore band got away with it.
Yeah.
Or the DJ. Stretch Armstrong. DJ. Yeah. But it was the keyboard player and the drummer were just like, yeah. So Hasbro hates Ska. We heard it here first. Or whoever made it.
And maybe just because they love God.
Yeah. They're like, if only they were Christian.
Yeah.
We would have let them get away with it.
And they love Pop and Molly at 2 a.m. So the DJ gets a pass too.
Oh, it's not an EDM DJ. He's like a hip hop DJ.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's news to me because I think it's interesting that so many people got away with this, but not these guys from Utah.
I think there might have been some money to be had to keep the name and use it in this way, and but a ska band from Utah does not have that kind of money.
No.
Nor do they give a shit. Is also something I'm learning. Like, as the more I learned about this band,
it just wasn't that important to them, it sounds like.
I will say that as we go through this, I think one of the key themes that you'll notice that much like Trout era Johnny Sacco, this band did not take their career very seriously.
Right.
Like, insofar that they change their name every album, like, just for fun, like, for no reason other than it's a funny joke to them, right?
It is.
And makes it hard to find them.
And maintain fandom.
Like, even on so they have that weird, so one of their albums is like spelt, or even maybe it was on the reissues where they spell it with the extra S and the umlauts. And that's the version that's on Spotify and all that.
And is it like a play on Gretsch?
Or maybe. They eschewed much of their funk influences in favor of a highly sax-forward sound that also involved a lot of swing and circus elements. The result was the seminal release titled Lollygag that was a smash hit for the band, selling 5,000 copies and getting the track Drool frequent airplay on college radio. And this is what the band said about this change. Scott, we're our own bread. Darren, there are very few that are doing two-tone band stuff right now. A lot of people are turning like kind of the Boss Tones thing. They either are doing Boss Tones or Fishbone. Scott, a little harder edged or Fishbone funk or something like that. They're two things we tried and screwed up every time. So we decided to just do whatever we wanted to do. So basically, they acknowledge that their debut did not go as planned and they didn't really enjoy it all that much.
And they're okay with that.
And so they decided to, change things up for the next one, Lollygag, which is arguably their most popular one. From what I can
did you
tell.
know the etymology of lollygag?
No.
I mean, it obviously meant wasting time, but originally it meant to be banging. Like you were lollygagging, meant doing it.
Oh,
yeah.
Scandalous.
Sexy. It was sexy in its origins.
This
It's
one,
sexy origins.
and did you notice that this album is lollygag is spelt slightly differently to imply that you are choking on a lollipop?
lolly.
Yeah,
Even sexier.
even sexier.
I guess. So do you think they are a little bit trolly?
Yes.
Like in a fun and not in a negative way, in like they seem like a little they have
I mean,
a
this
little bit
was
of like
like-
living under a bridge vibe.
This is a real aesthetic of like the mid 90s. Like this is what I grew up in. All this kind of like winky weirdness. Like
Cheeky.
yeah. To a point
They
too.
have a-
There's some point where people walked right over the line. But mostly it was just like yeah.
When you think of the Midwest ska bands that were happening at this time, with like Mustard Plug having an album with somebody like covered in mustard, and like there was this like kind of like, especially in contrast to the Sun and Sunshine West Coast and the we're cool jazzy art people East Coast. There's just all these people were just like, fuck it, who cares? And that was kind of they seem well positioned in that field.
Yeah, Midwest was really, especially in the 90s, was really like the weird goofballs. Like, I don't think any of these bands ever said we're going to make money and be a thing. And so it's just like, it's like kind of like, I don't know. I didn't really go to college, but I grew up with a town that had a big college in it. And there was always that frat that was like all the nerds, but they were still totally frat boys. That is like what Midwest ska is, like the nerdy frat.
The aforementioned radio hit, if you will.
This was a standout for me.
Oh,
this is probably my favorite on the album.
Oh,
It's
this and like Gladly Pay You Tuesday are songs that will always be with me my entire life. I love the little like sleigh bells like right here. Like
this song is when I was like, okay, I don't hate this. This is good. We're okay.
This feels like this is in line with like Gangster Fun's cover of Blue Serge Suit. Like, I just love it. Finger popping.
When the last time was my mother wiped the drool, collecting on my chin. Have you seen me lately? I've grown up, well, maybe. Have you seen me lately? I've grown up, but maybe not too much.
The vocals are so much better.
oh
No
yeah,
funk.
The vocals are so much better on this album. It's a fun, big moment in the song.
I love it.
yeah. What stuck out to me when I first saw them and then on these albums was the keyboard used. They're not like doing a synth like really synthy thin like a Moog. They're not doing like a Hammond keyboard. They're just like, screw it. It sounds like a circus song. I don't give a shit. This is what we're doing in this band now. And the keyboard choices always amaze me. And there's not a lot of bands in the ska realm that mess around like that.
I love the circus elements.
Yeah.
And that always does it for me. Yeah, I really like how circusy they got with this. And then, carried on. It's always what did it for the Mad Cat. I don't know why. Why is circus music fun? I guess it's... I'm instantly like, all right, this is pretty good.
Like when you think about circus music too, that like the circus song that everybody knows, like that was like a song written for gladiators to like enter an arena, and we're just like, no, that's a bunch of clowns coming out of a car. What?
That's incredible. I did not know that. Is that like the history? A lot of traditional circus songs.
At least that do 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 that was like a gladiator entrance theme. Yeah,
that's incredible. And now it's just like get the weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoops.
It's a song that plays when Homer is thinking about going to clown college.
Yeah.
I love so the songs that stuck out with me, like anytime where they get a little Tin Pan Alley swing, like I liked Sue Happy.
Yeah.
There's like they did a little bit of klezmer on this, a little bit of calypso. They kind of mixed it up enough where it didn't feel like you were getting bored listening to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think like I would say there's like 3 or 4 songs though like Cinder Block Shack and Dirty Slag.
Dirty Slag was a tough one for me.
That's
that one
yeah, that
was
was-
like pretty misogynist. It was of the time.
At the time, I had no problem re-listening to it every once in a while. I'm just like, yeah, I like the tune. I don't like anything else about the lyrics.
It just like at first when I saw the title, I was like, "That's funny," and then I was like, "Oh, you hate women. Someone didn't like you back, and you got mad and wrote this song. Like that's not. You got to go to therapy, man, and work through your feelings."
Like,
It's not her
oddly,
fault, man.
a song off this album that I don't think is a good song, but I think about all the time, actually, is Classic Hoagie. That song is like a nothing of a song. It really
That
is.
is how I felt. I was just like, "What is this?" All
But,
right, I
like,
because I kind of got excited by the name. I was like, "Sweet, classic hoagie." All right, I was like, "Okay, that's it."
But I would say, like, whenever me and my brother like are eating like sandwiches together, he'll stop and just look at me and he'll be like, "This is not the sandwich that I ordered."
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
yeah.
very funny.
Yeah, it is, because you have that shared
It
history
is.
of this ridiculous band. Yeah.
And that's just like a funny thing to say. It is. So I get it.
I have Home queued up. We can listen to that.
All right.
This stood out for you.
Yeah, I like the song. I think it was. I like the more like kind of like a garagey, twinkly little guitar playing. I think it's cool.
This is pretty summery.
Yeah. They have. This is also where they start writing songs that are in the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. We like to beat ass.
Yeah.
vein.
Fisticuffs.
Yep.
Knuckle sandwiches.
Cruising for a bruising.
This is not the sandwich that I ordered. A knuckle sandwich. How? Right in the kisser.
Jailbreak was the other song that I really liked.
Yeah, Jailbreak was fun.
Yeah.
It's a good song. I enjoy it. I like it. I enjoy a lot of songs off this first record. This was
This album's like this is a go back for you. This is a nostalgia happy album.
definitely driving my brother to like places and me and him hanging out. Yeah, because he was 3 years younger than me. So this would be like when I was trying to go to junior college and he was going to high school and we are still hanging out. Yeah, yeah.
That's similar to our age difference too. We're 2.5 years apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonding
Nice.
over mustard bud.
Yeah. Skanking by numbers every night and day. I don't know why that song spoke to me so much. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's it for Lollygag. It is their most popular one. Most people's entry point. So I'd say new listeners. That's where you'd want to go if you want to
Yeah.
give it a whirl.
Definitely.
So in 94, this year would prove to be one of their best. It would be the year that the scene heartthrobs Swim Herschel Swim called it quits, leaving the seat at the head of the table in the Utah Ska scene wide open. Here's what Scott had to say about that. I think what happened, to be honest with you, is that we rode the coattails of Swim for a really long time. We went from 0 to 500,000 people shows the first 2 months we were a band. Then Swim and us kind of parted ways, and there was a good 1.5 to 2 years where we weren't doing shows together, and we actually had a chance to gather together to become our own band and build ourselves back up again. They would play with an untold amount of big names, including Sunny Day Real Estate, The Offspring, Guttermouth, Cake, Skank and Pickle, Let's Go Bowling, and Fishbone. Actually, not to diss Skank and Pickle, Scott says, because they're one of our favorite groups of guys, but we'd actually like to tour with somebody even bigger to get more exposure, because they do a lot of bar shows.
I mean, fair.
We've had opportunities. We've been asked to tour with Rancid and Citizen Fish.
Ooh.
We just entered discussions with The Offspring, and we might be opening for them in December. So, I mean, if we could be getting bigger gigs like that, they're not ska bands, but I think our live show is good enough that we can compare. 1994, and they were in the conversation to open for Rancid and Citizen Fish.
Damn, that's huge.
Yeah.
This would have been a year before Time Bomb,
Yeah, that's wild. Whoa.
right? Like, I love to compartmentalize the timing of stuff because I think it's very interesting. And like you just assume, oh, Rancid, big band. They weren't insignificant at this time, but if they had done that tour, this band would be
different.
Way different.
Oh,
It would have probably been a much bigger conversation. Like Citizen Fish, I guess people kind of don't talk about as much, but I love that band too. They're great. And so why not change your name again and release more music? In 1995, the band under the name Stretch Magnifico released the stopgap EP, The Lesser of Two Weevils. Phenomenal name. That would be a mix of studio and live tracks and would once again be put out under their Messy Records label. I didn't have a lot queued up for this because, frankly, I had to buy their music in order to play it.
I did not listen to it.
Oh, okay,
because I couldn't find it.
The two best songs on it they redid for Armstrong. So and then there's some live tracks that are okay.
I did listen to that,
and then two of their lesser songs. So if you miss, back in the day, I would say if you only had $5 and you wanted to pick up an actual physical CD of this band, get that one. If you see them at a show, then you'll know if you like them or not to invest more money. But
that's fair.
In today's day and age, it's kind of I would say it's more of a hardcore fan kind of product. To be honest, yeah.
And they end it with their cover of Charlie Brown, which I guess from what I was reading is a thing they always ended their shows, or at least frequently did.
Yeah, I guess so too. Yeah, because at the start of it, they're like, "We're going to end this the way we end all our shows," and then they start playing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
their live show was amazing. I mean,
okay,
they held up against Hepcat when I saw them. It was also the first time I saw Mustard Plug. The first time I saw Hepcat, the only time I seen Stretch, and it was just such a great show. And there was they played in Bloomington, Illinois, but they didn't play near the college. And I think that was probably the biggest mistake because all you have is the weirdo ska fans that are going to drive out to where the venue was. But if they were on the college, main drag, I think they would have done great. So that's why I got to hang out with the drummer and the keyboard player after the show because there wasn't that many people at it. And I had two friends. Oh, ironically enough, my friend Dave that got me into ska was touring with Mustard Plug at the time, playing trombone. And another Mustard Plug member at the time was actually from my hometown. He produced my band's EPs. So that's fun. So I got to see them play with Mustard Plug. But yeah, no, they were so great because they come out with the three saxes and you're just I wonder what this is going to sound like. And then they're all super tight on those saxophones too. And it's just such a fun sound. And that plus the keyboards playing, not normal keyboard sounds for ska. And I mean, this was still early on. I had only been into ska for a short time. But I look back on that and it's whoa, I saw Hepcat and Stretch at the same time. And Stretch was doing something completely crazy. Hepcat was doing this way throwback kind of thing. It was really crazy and a lot of fun, and their stage show was pretty good even for a mostly empty venue. Yeah,
that's sweet. Yeah, I feel like it'd be a fun live show. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, they seem similar to how MU330 had two trombones. It's you see it and you feel oh, this is gonna be different than anything.
Yeah. They probably do little dances together, the saxophones.
Yeah, they did that swing kind of back and forth thing.
Yeah, I love a little horn line choreo. It's the best.
So after opening for the Specials in 1996, the band put the finishing touches on their third full length, including some re-recordings of their EP tracks, as mentioned. The album would once again see the band operating under a different moniker, this time as The Stretch Band. The album titled simply Armstrong, in quote marks, be put out once again under the Messy Records label, but proved to be the band's swan song. So why didn't the band go to a major label? Here's what Scott said. We never really pursued it. Not that being big would be a bad thing, but I've got a family. I could make a decent record, quit my job, tour, and 2 years down the road, all the money's gone. And so then where am I? So much like their contemporaries, Skank and Pickle, the band called her quits in 97, just as ska was at its most popular nationally, choosing to spend their time on new projects rather than make money, I suppose. Scott said this about that time. We've had a great time, and we're proud of what we've done. We just want to end things on a high note and not wind up playing the local radio hit Drool in bars when we're 40. Armstrong will kick it off with Knuckle Sandwich, which is a re-recording from the EP. It's a great song. Yes. Got excited.
I just love that they put a banjo on this at all.
I'm a big ska banjo fan. It's like my favorite Mad Caddy song, my favorite ska songs. Yeah. Banjo and ska is the best.
Banjo Skazooey.
Banjo Skazooey.
Yeah, Banjo Skazooey.
Polyphonics. So I like the boingoiness.
You think it's the oingo boingo?
Oh, they get real boingo.
This album gets so oingo boingo. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like very daddy.
Yeah, this is very. They go very swing on this album in general, but then still a little their own thing. Yeah, the banjo really takes it to a different level.
Also, the guitars, they're a little heavier on the guitar.
Swing at the swamp swing. It's a fun ditty to dance to.
Those saxes are just going nuts, man.
They're Saxon.
So my thoughts on this album, it's my favorite one.
Whoa!
Yeah. I think it's incredible. I actually would
It sounds the best. It was the most enjoyable.
It's objectively the best one, and I know I go back to Lollygag a lot because of nostalgia reasons. But like this album is their absolute best, like recording wise, lyric wise, musicianship. It is the best.
The production of this album specifically is just like above and beyond what they had done previously.
I think it stands the test of time. On weirder ska bands from the 90s, like people are now just talking about the Blue Meanies as like an important article of ska, or Link 80, or like a lot of the bands that weren't necessarily as commercial. That potential with an album like this of being in a similar conversation, if they promoting themselves and any of that, like it's all there for people, but you know, no one's going to go after it unless people talk about it. And I actually think that it's quite good.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable listen. Yeah. It was not a forced listen. It didn't feel like work. It was like, this is music.
I'm glad it didn't seem like too much homework I was throwing at you, Celine.
It didn't, and it sometimes does. Real Big Fish was a really hard one for me.
I used to be a big Real Big Fish fan back in the day, and I think that would be a hard one for me to go back and listen to the whole catalog, to be honest.
I feel like even it would almost be worse as a fan, because you'd have to be like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. As of this recording, we have another Real Big Fish episode coming out soon. Yeah. So
Yay!
It's not out yet. Yep. It was fun. It was interesting. What
discussions were had
at
volume?
The perfect guest for that era of their career.
Yeah, no, the guess was perfect.
There was a lot of I respect you and I respect your opinion, but
oh, I can't wait.
So, what stood out for you on this record on Armstrong?
Lounging in a Mood Rut and Truth Syrup really stand out for me a lot, but also Kiss the Bride, just for all its very boingo-ness.
Kiss the Bride was my number one.
I have that queued up. Why don't we listen to it?
Ooh.
All right.
Kiss the Bride.
That's what solidified, where I was like, no, this is good. This is good and fun. This is good and fun, and I like it.
This is so boingo.
Yeah, this is boingo now that you're saying it. It's weird in the way I like it to be weird.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary. It's a little spooky. I think that's probably why. It's their most evil song.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Villain energy. That's fun. I like it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That song's sweet.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, go ahead, RJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a very and the rest of this album too. You do hear a lot more of that boingo influence going on. Like I even think Scott singing gets a little Danny in a couple places too, which is fun because I like going boingo too. So bring it on, guys.
Yeah. I think this is the one that I'll probably come back and I'll listen to again after we're done, just because like there's still little moments that I just wanted to revisit. And it feels like cohesive but interesting, but still like unexpected.
It seems like a fully realized album.
Yeah.
There was like a concept and a sound, and they like stuck with it, with being weird and experimenting.
Supernova, like they just like kind of came up with like the best possible version of themselves and then decided it was done.
Pleasantly surprised and impressed with this album. Thank God it got better.
as you have said. So, yeah, and the band members would go off to do a few other projects. I think most notably 2.5 White Guys, right? Or is that the name of the band, right? 2.5 White Guys? Yeah. Whose album I own one of their records, and I don't know why I have it. Yeah.
It was on the Toasters Megalith label, so I think that's why a lot of people ended up with it.
I bought that when the Toasters came into town, and I bought that, and I bought Blood, Sweat, and Beers by the Hub City Stompers.
No, nice.
And the latter of which I still listen to. It's incredible. So
yeah, I don't listen to those 2.5 White Guys because I got the EP and I have the album, and I don't listen to them. But I did find out that 3 of the guys started a new band that only put out one EP, and now I want to find that EP, and they're called Moxie Tonic Medicine Show. That's Mike Scott.
I read about that on.
Yeah.
Oh, also ska or just whatever.
It seems
just
like
whatever.
It was more of a swinging kind of thing. Yeah.
I can see them doing just like full blown swing. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Rob's hot take, the little bar underneath you says Rob thinks all other music is just whatever.
It's just like when you talk to people who are fans of classical music.
Yeah.
And they talk about all other music
legit,
as popular music.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you listen to popular music. And I'm like, no, I don't listen to popular music.
That's
like,
the opposite. Listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
I took
listen to popular music.
I took a friend who to his first like rock concert, and I didn't know that. It was just in the back of a bar, and it was a bunch of ska bands playing. And I found out later he'd only been to like classical shows his entire life. He was in his early 20s. He's one of my LA friends. And he can't tell like bands apart that aren't like the popular music. He can't tell them apart. Like he will hear like Dance Hall Crashers, and he's like, "Isn't this the band we went and saw?" I'm like, "No." But for him, it's like it's female fronted ska, and so that's it. They're all the same.
One sound. Yeah.
He has no idea how to differentiate any of that. Yeah.
And that's how I feel about listening to most classical
I was
music.
going to say, to be fair, I would say the same about like, I don't have a trained ear for classical.
Especially because it's all about arrangements. So they'll be like, oh, and then this orchestra is playing this a certain way, and then the pop orchestra in Boston is playing it this way. And I'm like, it still sounds like whatever piece of music.
I think we know by the game Guess That Horn that I maybe wouldn't pick up on that.
Yeah. Is this a cello? That's a
arrangement.
tuba.
It's not a tuba.
It's not nice. Got him.
Got him.
All right. Well, I think it's now time to play games. Huh?
Yeah, I do want to say, just to circle back to what me and Celine were talking about earlier, the last recording of the Stretch Band was a cover of Mr. DNA by Devo.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
It's hard to
You had
find,
mentioned
but
that.
it's out there.
Yeah,
didn't
I
look it
definitely
up.
didn't see any of that. If you ever find it, link me.
I'll send you an MP3. Don't worry.
Yeah, I would be very interested in hearing that.
The band's name's what? The band's name's who? The band's
God.
name is Inscrutable. This is called the Misname Game. In this game, Celine and RJ will be given progressively difficult clues to ascertain the identity of a popular band that has a famously not pun-based misspelling of their name. They get a point for the correct answer and a bonus point if you can identify how it is misspelled.
Whoa.
Buzz in with your name or Buzz or Ska. Most points wins. Joey is going to try to find a writing utensil, or he can do it on his
Use
phone
your
on his
phone.
notes app. No, he
No.
says, shaking his head. Oh, piece of paper has come out.
Old
I'm narrating
school.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
And a Sharpie.
So, all clear? Makes sense?
No, I'm gonna I'll figure it out as
Okay.
we go.
I
RJ?
think I get it.
Okay. We'll do one, and you'll get it after
Yeah,
the
I
first
feel like
one.
I'll know after
Okay.
the example.
Okay, so again, it's 3 clues for each potential one, and it's progressively easier.
Okay.
So they start difficult to get easier. Okay,
All right.
so
Rad,
here's
rad,
the
rad.
first one.
Okay.
This Southern rock band defies you to spell their name correctly.
The only clue is defy and
Oh,
Southern
hey,
rock.
I think I got it.
Okay,
Is
RJ.
Def Leppard?
No.
Still in.
Yes.
Deftones.
They're Southern rock band, the Deftones. Second clue.
Okay, when you said it,
All
it
right.
sounded
Okay.
stupid.
Are we saying they're a rock band from the South or they're a Southern rock band?
Oh,
A Southern rock band.
You said the
Second-
Deftones are a
second
Southern rock band?
No, I was joking.
okay. That's,
okay.
Now we're good. Now,
Yeah.
to be fair, I said the Deftones were
Yeah.
Southern rock.
And that's absolutely not the right answer. Okay. Second clue.
Still not
They
right.
may be
okay.
They may be famous for their music, but they may also be famous for their tragic airplane accident.
Oh,
Joey is just sitting over here just stewing.
I knew on the first one.
Yeah, I figured.
Roy Orbison.
Yeah, Roy Orbison. No.
No,
Wrong.
I know that. Yeah, I got it. Leonard Skinner.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know they died in a plane accident.
Half of them did.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And for bonus points, how is it misspelled?
They put Y's in it where it's not because it's actually named after their gym coach.
Ha.
Yeah.
Aw, that's
Whoa,
fun.
with the gym coach thing. Leonard Skinner is his name. So bonus point for RJ.
Is there a
Jumping
movie
ahead.
about that?
No, I wouldn't watch it. There's a movie called Sweet Home Alabama that sucks.
Good to know.
All right, here's the second one.
Okay.
This big four thrash band came out after a split from Metallica.
I was going to say Metallica.
That's a pun, though.
No,
But no.
Oh, is it Megadeth? Sorry. RJ, Megadeth.
Whoa! Yes, it is
Oh.
Megadeth. And how is it misspelled?
They
Celine.
dropped the A in death, right?
They dropped
I
the
did know that.
Man, RJ is running
I know
away
you're
with this.
doing
The other
very
clues
well.
were the tunes may rip, but the front man is possibly more famous for his acidic take on his former bandmates. And finally, I put Dave Mustaine says killing is his business and business is good. Megadeth.
Yeah.
All right, Celine, this one might be for you. This third one.
I don't like the pressure.
This post-grunge new metal band was buried amongst their peers in the early 2000s.
Corn.
Nope, but that name is misspelled. That is good. I wouldn't call them post-grunge though.
Disturbed.
No, that's spelled properly.
Limp Bizkit.
No, that is misspelled.
It's still misspelled, yeah.
Linkin Park.
That is also misspelled. That's really funny. Okay, wait. Here, let's do another one.
There's so many.
They were a true one-hit wonder with a
Chumbawamba.
slow song. That's Chumbawamba. There's so many things wrong with what
Okay,
you just
no,
said.
yes,
They
I
were
know.
a true one-hit wonder with a very slow song that belayed their heavier moments.
I can't believe there's so many new metal bands
With their
like,
names
slight
misspelled?
Yeah.
Yeah. that
I
is
feel I
very
should
funny.
know this too, and I'm not doing any better than Celine.
This one will probably tip you.
Not
This next one.
Evanescence. They're not a
No.
one-hit wonder though.
Okay.
Yeah, give it.
You probably haven't listened to them because it's been a while.
Oh, Stained.
Yes. How's it misspelled, Celine?
Without the E.
Yes. So Celine got it too. Yeah.
Since I could
So so Stained,
hold my head
Limp
up
Bizkit,
high.
Korn, Linkin Park,
That's wild.
All
Project Wise.
Project
Project
Wise.
Wise.
Oh god, they have to come up again.
It's a thing.
It
all
was a
those
big
over-
90s thing for like copyright reasons. Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, here we go. Number 4.
Okay.
This band is so ubiquitous that it's sometimes hard to breathe.
Oh. Not Incubus. No. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
Like I said, the first one's a tough one. This one's a tough one.
Hard to breathe. I'm trying to like think, and now I'm just like in a new metal phase, and I'm like, it's hard to breathe. And I'm like, is that a song? I don't know.
People love this band's color-themed albums as much as they love its geeky frontman.
Those the Beatles,
Oh.
Black and White, the White Album or whatever.
The Beatles is a pun, as we discussed.
Okay, can like not to digress, but I don't get it. Like
Beetle, like
beatniks?
like the animal, the beetle,
Yeah.
Bee,
Okay,
beat, Beat, like on the beat.
because Beatles is spelled with 2 E's.
Yeah. So the Beatles is a pun.
I actually didn't. I saw you tweet that, and I like was like, I
You
don't
stayed
get
out
it.
of it.
I don't like the beat. I just like didn't. It just didn't. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any thoughts on this one?
Color albums.
Color albums, as much as they love its geeky frontman.
Weezer.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, because wheeze like being. But is Weezer
Yeah.
a word?
So how's
one
it
who
misspelled?
wheezes.
Well, it's spelled Weezer.
Right? Is that how you spell wheeze?
Wheeze.
So you just get the one, but yeah, it's because it's missing
Okay.
the H.
Okay.
Weezer.
Okay.
It's funny. It's misspelled. Anyway, I thought that was clever.
That was
It is.
clever. That's too clever
All
for
right.
me.
The
And
only
I've seen
thing was
Weezer, like,
Geeky
twice.
Frontman. Geeky Frontman was like I was just like,
yeah.
well, Weezer, I guess.
Yeah. Who else is there? Devo.
They're not geeky, Robert.
No, they are. They're
They're
total political
They're
nerds.
political bit.
Yeah. Thanks for justifying me, RJ. Number 5. Oh, the Humanity. This not quite metal early 70s rock band was all about the riffs.
Blood-a-da-doo. Who's blood-a-da-doing back in the day?
That's not riffs.
Solo.
That was a solo.
You said it
Oh,
was right?
RJ. Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Mm.
And what's misspelt?
Lettuce spelled LED.
Yeah. Here's the other clues I had. Hide your children because if you played the records backwards, you might have heard the devil.
Oh,
And
because the
I would
Seagull's
have-
gonna come take you.
I would have and then I would have had to prefer to take the elevator to heaven. All right. Number 6. There'd be no hair metal without this English band that would not stop with the hits in the 80s.
There'd be no hair metal.
Yeah, they were pretty much one of the first.
I was like rat spelt with 2 T's.
That is not bad.
Yeah, I'm just
not
hair
bad.
metal. I was like rat is
Not
and,
bad.
and rat is normally spelt with 1 T.
it works. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you
jeez.
so
Yeah.
much. Okay, give us another one.
Okay,
Yeah.
the one-armed drummer seems to have persisted as their
Oh.
biggest hallmark.
Who's the fucking band with the one-armed drummer? Who's the band with the one-armed drummer? A
Oh,
big
that's
metal band.
RJ. That's Def Leppard, right?
That's
Oh,
Def
thank
Leppard,
you.
yes. And how is it misspelled?
It's only spelled DEF, correct?
And
Oh, jeez. I'm dyslexic, so anything else is going to be harder for me.
I'll give you a half a
Leopard.
point.
Leopard.
I'll give you each half a point because
all right,
leopard is
yes.
also
I'll
misspelled.
take that. I'll split that point with Celine. Hell yeah.
I'm just desperate. I'm thirsty.
All right, first wave black metal band from Denmark that sounds nothing like the Razor guitars of the Norwegians of later years.
Mayhem is spelled correctly.
Mayhem is a second wave black metal band.
Oh.
I don't know anything about black metal, so Celine, this is yours to lose.
Jimmy Borg here.
Well, I could not tell you if that was misspelled or not. It's all about the high notes and concept albums like the Untouchable Abigail.
No. Oh, to King Diamond. But is King Diamond spelled incorrectly?
But it's the band is named...
Oh my god, what's King Diamond's band's name? I'm like totally blanking. It's not.
Yeah, because the next hint's not going to help you. King Diamond, ring a bell.
I'm not remembering. I get like my brain isn't having it. It's not Majesty. No.
No, Majesty is not the band. King Diamond did make Abigail, but the band is different. Yeah,
I can't think of his name either. Or I can't think of the band's name either.
The band is Merciful Fate,
Merciful Fate,
and it's merciful, not merciful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's spelled.
Do I get a half a point?
No. The other first wave band would be Venom. Yeah. Venom had the sound, but Merciful Fate had the corpse paint.
Corpse paint, yeah.
All right, here's the last one. I don't think Celine can possibly win, but let's see. This brash group of hard partiers in the 80s tore a strip off the Sunset Strip.
RJ, Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say Beastie Boys.
And how is it misspelled?
Crew is spelled CRUE instead of with the yeah.
And there's the umlaut, but that's fine.
Oh, there's
but
umlauts.
Yeah. That's it.
I did better than I thought. Wow.
RJ crushed.
Yeah, you did
9.5 to 3.5. 9.5 to 3.5.
And there was even one that I even put in a couple that were for Celine.
Was King Diamond, was Merciful Fate supposed to be for me?
Yeah. I didn't know you didn't know what the band's name was.
I do, but it just wasn't coming to me. That's just not how that's not how ADHD brains work.
Yeah,
especially when you're put on the spot. It's very hard to, even things you know really well, when you're put on the spot, it's hard to like access that information sometimes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had all the Stretch Armstronng CDs in front of me so I could talk about them, because if I didn't, there's no way.
Yeah, and it's like you get frustrated because you're like, I know this, but it's like gone. If only.
That's fun. All right. This one's not a question, but Nude Rude Dude says, tell him his fellow Ska mod loves him.
Aw.
Oh. Hey. What's their...
That's cute.
Which one is it?
That's a great question. I just have their...
There's only two other ones. There's Scallywag in the Shadows and Arcega.
I'm not sure which one that is.
It's probably Scallywag.
Scallywag does like to give us a boost too. So
yeah, I like it. Scallywag's a good kid. I say that because I know I'm older than them. Because I'm an old man.
They put if you want to hear him be bitter, ask him about other mods on the subreddit, and then maybe ask him about skibs.
Okay, so I love Arcega.
Not have to answer those, but anyway,
I will answer that. I also love Arcega, who is a good mod when they're not busy. They are a doctor or a nurse in Florida, so they've dealt with a lot of COVID nonsense, and they're not available at them. The other mods just won't leave, and they don't do anything. So they suck. But they outrank me and Arcega. They were mods before us, and so we can't kick them off. You can only kick out people who come after you. So like I could get rid of Scallywag, but yeah, no. So Arcega, Scallywag are great. The other two, not so much. And then Ska'd is just an automated bot. It's not really a thing. And I won't talk about skibs because that won't go anywhere well.
Okay. So Chris, Scott Punk International Chris.
Hey, cool Chris.
Has he got excited. Ask about the label he used to run, please.
Okay, so we're actually in July of 2012, on the 12th, actually, I had a record label that I started, and our first releases came out that day, and it was called Grandpa's Casino Recordings, It was named after, so my wife is 6 years younger than me, and she used to call me grandpa as a joke. She went to Vegas and she wanted to get me like a gift, and she looked all over for something with my real name on it. But my name is common, but it's an uncommon spelling, so she couldn't find anything. But then she found a pair of dice that said Grandpa's Casino on them, and I thought it was hilarious. And that was the first like gift she ever got me when we were dating. So that's why I was like, I'm naming my label this. And so I contacted at the time in 2011 a bunch of up and coming like ska bands that I thought were going to stick around for a while, and I got some of them right. So I put out a record with Stop the Presses. I put out a record with Georgetown Orbits, and those are the only two bands that are still together. And if you don't know the Georgetown Orbits, you really should. They're a really great band out of the Pacific Northwest. More traditional.
Okay.
But then we had like a bunch of members of the Fuss and the director of Pick It Up, Ska in the 90s, were in a band called The Shifters. That was really great. And so I put out a record with them. It was just a lot of fun. Like, and that's how I got to know bands. And because 23 Minutes of Ska was only around for like 2 years by this point. And I was just like, I want to do more to like help up and coming bands. But 2012 in vinyl, nobody gave a shit. I had
That's
like
crazy how much.
I stand by all the records. I think they're all really, really good. Do It With Malice, which is like the only ska metal band I think is great. All the other ska metal bands, I'm like, you're doing metal riffs and ska. You're not blending them so much, but Do It With Malice did. And so I was like really happy to put out these records, but I still have so many of them because now these are like older bands. People in Spain, Mexico, and Japan love the Shifters, so I still sell that record quite a bit.
Cool.
And people will pay like $30 for the record and then pay the $30 shipping on top of it. And I'm just like, you're crazy.
You should just give them a bonus record from
I usually
the
do.
other boxes.
I do. Well, to me, if they like the Shifters, they're probably going to like the Georgetown Orbits. So I throw it in. If someone is buying, I could Do It With Malice, I'm going to put in a record from Lockstep. But they were more of a ranted style ska punk. All the bands are great. And so, I will do that. If you like one record, you're going to like two. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
All just fell apart because I was a couple grand in the hole even after the Kickstarter. And I needed to make money.
Well, that's a big task to take on.
Yeah, and now
so good
that
for you for doing it.
Now that I know what I know, I could probably do it for what I raised at the Kickstarter. But that was also my first time trying to do anything like that, and so I know, a lot of money. I didn't. I could spend it better, basically, and get still a good product because I made sure those were high quality, because at the time, some other labels that were doing ska stuff in the early 10s weren't high quality, cheaped out on everything. And I was like, I don't want my records to be like that. So, it's a point of pride.
I think the last thing we'll leave you on is, what's your biggest piece of advice to people who are thinking of starting a label then?
Label-wise, know the audience, like, and what's selling, because when I tried to do this, nobody wanted to give a chance to small ska bands, especially on vinyl. It was not the thing to do, but I felt strongly that it needed to be done. And I look back on it and I'm proud of all 7 of those records, and I'm really, really glad to have helped Stop the Presses in any small way, because Danny and Allie are 2 of the nicest people in the world, and they deserve the world, and everyone deserves to listen to their band. So I'm glad I played a small piece in their history. And
Thanks for listening to Checkered Past. RJ, thank you so much for taking time to join us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is your time to plug. Go ahead and plug stuff.
Check out 23 Minutes of Ska, 23ska.com. Find On the Upbeat at ontheupbeatska.com. Follow me on Twitter at 23 Minutes of Ska. I don't talk that much, to be honest. I might make jokes here and there on the Twitter, and I'll always let you know when the new show is out.
Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Checkered Past Pod, or send us an email at checkeredpastpod@gmail.com to support the pod and get bonus content, including a full-length and unedited video of this episode, Sign up for the Checkerhead Patreon at patreon.com/checkeredpast. We also have merch available. I keep forgetting about that. At checkeredpast.ca. Checkered Past is edited by Ariane and engineered by Joey. And until next time, I'm Rob.
Celine.
And in the immortal words of Stretsch Armstrong, have you seen me lately? I've grown up. Well, maybe.